Trump and the two-gender policy. A return to traditional definitions. The moment Trump says it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female, the air gets thick, right? People get triggered, polarized, ready to go to war. But here's the catch, it's not really about Trump, it's never about Trump. The trigger isn't coming from his words or his policies, the trigger is coming from inside you. It's the ego feeling threatened, defending an identity it's worked so hard to build. How dare he say I don't exist? But what if you paused for a second and asked yourself, who is this I that's offended? The ego loves identities. It craves them. Whether it's gender, race, religion, or political affiliation, the ego builds walls around these labels and says, this is me. So when someone like Trump challenges one of those labels, the ego freaks out. But let's take it deeper. If Trump isn't real and neither are you, then what are we even fighting about? It's all a big joke, a cosmic comedy. Trump, like everyone else, is a reflection. He's showing us what we cling to, what we think defines us. And let's be honest, when's the last time you pulled a Trump move in your own life? Gave an ultimatum, demanded people see things your way, decided the world would be better if everyone just got on your page. Sound familiar? That's the ego too. Now here's where it gets funny. Trump's policy, whether you agree with it or not, does one thing. It simplifies. Less to argue about, right? Fewer categories, fewer choices. It's like going back to the old days when everyone wore the same jeans to church for months. No Instagram, no TikTok, no X, just jeans and simplicity. And while simplicity can be clarifying, it's also a reminder. What are you really clinging to? Is your sense of self dependent on external validation, on a policy, on a word? Or is it rooted in something deeper, something unshakable? Let's not kid ourselves. Most people won't pause to reflect. They'll stay on the surface, get angry, and attack each other. How dare you support Trump? How dare you attack him? And the cycle goes on. But what if you stepped out of the storm for a moment? What if you realized that none of it, the policies, the arguments, the polarization, has any power over you unless you give it power? If you can't see the humanity in Trump, if you can't find love for him, then guess what? That same block will show up with anyone else. Michelle Obama, Queen Elizabeth, your neighbor, your co-worker. Trump's just the current reflection of what you're not willing to look at in yourself. Trump's move is a mirror. What are you seeing in it? Is it division, control, a challenge to identity? It's all there, but it's not about him. It's about you. The truth is, the ego is terrified of simplicity, because simplicity threatens its game. The ego thrives on complexity, on having more categories, more identities to cling to. But life isn't complicated. The only thing that makes it feel that way is our refusal to let go. Here's the real challenge. Can you love Trump? Not agree with him, not support his policies, but see him as a human being, a reflection of your own struggles with control, identity, and simplicity. Because if you can't love Trump, it's not about him. It's about you. Love isn't selective. It doesn't skip people we don't like. And if it does, then it's not really love. It's just ego in disguise. So what say you? Are you willing to look past the surface, past the polarization, past the noise? Are you willing to step out of the storm and into clarity? Because Trump isn't the villain here, and neither are you. The only thing in the way is the illusion of separation, the ego clinging to its labels, its control, its complexity. And if you're brave enough to let that go, oh man, that's where the magic happens. That's where freedom begins, your move.